Good day and welcome to Daystar's Junior Church YouTube channel. My name is Precious Fesasawoye, and I'm going to be starting off the service today with a poem titled The Gift from God. What is the gift from God? Love. Love is undescribable. It has no shape, no form. Love does not conform. Love is not an object. Love enters our lives. The moment we are born, from the cradle to the grave, love is in everyone. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the talk show that is going to be happening right now.
Hello everyone, my name is Davina Eleshin, and here with me is
David. Nice to meet you all.
and what we're going to do today is we're basically going to just
It's just interesting. We can just call it that.
we're going to just about the ups and downs, the left and rights
Of a Christian teenager.
being a Christian in the 21st century, because the Christian lifestyle
We
is
get a lot
different.
of troubles and things we face.
And also some high times too, don't you think?
Sometimes.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to, each of us actually, are going to pick questions from
This basket.
And we ask each other what we think and give examples from our experiences.
And our experiences, yeah.
But before we even start that, I'm sure you were like a bit curious of how we got born again. I, for one, grew up in a Christian household. So the regular go to church every Sunday, fasting,
Morning,
and
night.
devotion and whatnot. But then I think I got to a point in year 9, that is GS3, some years ago, around like 2019, 2020. So what happened was that the talks in school, Wednesday service, was getting more about rapture, and please, I don't think I'm the only one that
Exactly, like the scale.
it was getting more frequent about hell. So I was like, Davina, please, if you died today, please, will you go to heaven or will you go to
Because
hell?
it can just happen in a snap and
Yeah,
like,
you don't know when it's going to happen, like a thief in the night, for crying out loud. So I was a bit more intentional. I had obviously given my life some years before when I was in junior church and whatnot, but then I think I got really serious. What about you, David?
well, basically it's the same thing. Like, I was born in a Christian home, and basically the thing is that, hell, like when you hear hell, like you can't even imagine it, like you'll be born in for the rest of your life. So like that is just like what got me scared and gave my life to Christ. But lately, as I started growing older, I realized that that shouldn't be the only thing that will make you give your life to Christ, because you need God and the Holy Spirit to guide you in life, tell you what you are meant and what you were meant to put on this earth for.
The fear of the consequences should
Exactly.
cause you to give your life.
Because the worst thing to do is living on this earth and not know what you're here for. You're just floating around and just doing other things. So that was the main reason why I actually gave my life to Christ.
So let's start. We don't know who is going to pick first.
So we're deciding by a game of rock, paper, scissors.
Yes, best out of 3. So I hope you guys. What are you guys waiting for? If you're waiting for Davina, press Davina in the. Sorry,
It's
type
David.
Davina in the comments.
David is going to win,
for
alright?
David.
David is going to win,
So
alright?
whoever loses gets to pick first.
Alright.
It's not that serious, but now let's start. No, now rock paper scissors shoot. Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
One.
One.
Count it again.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I think we've done more than 3.
Okay, I lose. Alright. Okay, seriously?
What question did you get?
Oh, okay, this is the question. What was the meanest comment you ever got? Was it by someone close to you or on social media? How did you deal with it?
So am I answering?
Yeah, you're
Answer
answering.
now.
I'm the one that's asking the question. You're answering.
Sure. Let me see it again. The meanest comment I've ever gotten. What was the meanest comment? And how did I deal with it? Okay. I think being a teenager, other teenagers are extremely moody. So we tend to trash the things we've been piling up about ourselves into others. So let's say I'm frustrated about something, but I can't go and meet the person that is causing my frustration. I might end up meeting someone that might accept my trash and dumping it on them. So the first thing I want to say is that if you're going through any mean comments, please don't listen to them. what they're going through is affecting their perception and affecting how they speak of you. Don't listen to them. So let me give an example of a mean comment I've heard. I've heard different ones. The first one I'm going to talk about is that someone called my content cringe because on Instagram, I'm on Instagram,
Yeah.
I make different posts about mindset and rest and whatnot. But like, someone in school told me that she was stalking me. And I thought that meant a good thing. I thought that was a good thing. I thought it was a good thing. Like, I thought she enjoyed my content. She was like, that's not a compliment, sorry. What I'm trying to say, your content is cringe. And at some point I was like,
That hurts.
I wanted to just stop making, but I had to realize that the things I do should not be for the people. I remember I was watching a video by one of my mentors, Steve Furtick of Elevation Church. So if you just go to, I think Elevation Worship, yeah, basically. So he put a video out there talking about how we should do what God has put in our hearts to do, not for the audience, not for the clapping.
Not for other people.
Yeah, but for the fact that you're going to not let your ideas stay in your mind, but
Share
let
it
other
with
people
others.
feel. Because there's someone out there that is actually enjoying my content and I'm actually learning from it. Another thing I've heard that really got me was when I had a fight in hostel, and then the girl that I was fighting with was talking about my singing voice. I'm not as confident in my, I think I'm more confident in my speech than my singing. So when she brought up how I sound, I was like, wow.
So people really think about this.
I got really sensitive at some point, but then I had to brush it up and I was like, maybe she wasn't trained the right way. So you don't know. So whatever you're dealing with, please do not listen to them.
And also, people who give mean comments, they are going through, they might be going through something themselves because maybe they see something in you that they wish to have and they don't have it, so they want to make you feel bad. So don't take that to heart. Okay, so
the next question, I just hope it's a long one. How do you keep your emotions in check?
Okay, so I'll answer that question. So basically, when people see me, they see me as someone that's gentle and other things, but the truth is that I get really angry. So for some time, before I entered senior school, I usually used to get really angry. And like, they can just say something to me and it can just tick me off and I'll just like get angry, and sometimes I get physical.
How did your friends react to this? Did you have more friends? Did you have less friends because of this?
Actually, people were, for some time, other people that didn't know me, they wanted to be my friends, but after they knew my anger issues, like, they were scared of me, actually. So, but there was one friend I had. She was the only person that was not afraid of me and could walk up to me and we could have actually have a conversation. Then she was worried about my anger issues, and I told her the reason why I get angry, and she said something to me. She was like, why is it that you get angry because of what someone said to you? Does that really make you what you are? Because, okay, for example, let me explain this. If somebody calls you a fish, for example, then to you, if maybe you get angry at that moment, if you think about it, that's actually foolish of the person because you don't actually look like a fish. You're a human. Exactly.
But why are you listening to them?
Exactly. So you shouldn't be riled by that thing. So after that, literally, slowly but surely, I was able to conquer my anger issues. And even if someone gets me mad, I'm able to control my emotions so it won't get out of hand. What about you?
I think I agree with the whole, you shouldn't listen to what people say because just because of what they say, that doesn't mean that it should determine how you see yourself. I think that relates a bit to the previous question on mean comments. Just because they call you X doesn't make you X. So how I personally keep my emotions in check is I write them down in a form of a letter. I have a particular book that I've never shown anybody in my life. Only person that has read it before is me and God. So the way it works is that I write like a letter form, dear God, and I write how I feel. I don't even need to understand how I feel. I just write what has frustrated me, what has gotten me overly excited throughout the day, throughout the week.
Angry.
Yeah, and what has gotten me angry. I know sometimes I tend to get a bit I tend to get really angry. I was telling one of my friends how my brother, my younger siblings are a whole different breed. My younger brother, that boy, I don't get where they got him from. The thing is that he's the only one that's ever seen this angry side, like this seriously angry side of me. And I don't like showing people that side too much because, like, your kids, it's not just afraid of you. And this is reminding me of one of my auntie said, her name is Queenette, and she told me that, Davina, a person that is angry is blind, deaf, and dumb. What that means is that no matter when you're angry, when you're full of anger, no matter what is happening around you, you won't be able to interpret it well. You can't hear well, you can't see well, and you won't even be able to talk well. So please make sure you don't get to that stage. But I think as Christians, we should also
Be able to control it.
yeah, and maximize on our environment. We have friends for a reason. You have people you can trust for a reason. Right? It's
People that
understandable.
you can talk to when you're not feeling well.
Yeah, and if you're looking for who to trust, don't build up your walls. There's no way you can find someone to trust if you are constantly being conscious about what others think of you.
It may not be easy at first, but
You'll
if you keep
find
trying,
someone.
you can.
And if that's not working out, God is here for a reason. I personally write letters, and I'm sure He hears me out. And also keep Proverbs 15 verse 18 in mind. Probably as you're watching this, you can go check that out. And you'll be able to understand the effects of being angry. Another thing I learned about keeping your emotions in check is that anger is not the only emotion you should keep in check. Keep your joy in check, your happiness in
Your
check,
sadness,
your sadness in check.
moodiness.
Because anything you do when you're overly emotional you might regret
Go
it.
out of place.
If you're overly excited, someone else might see you and might decide to ask you for something that on a norm you wouldn't say yes to. So when you have calm down, you're like, wow, did I really say yes to that? Okay.
So, yeah. Seriously. The next question. Unfortunately, people think you have to do certain things to be cool. And those who don't do it are not cool or weird. Have you ever succumbed to something? Tell us about it and where did it lead you?
Okay. I think a lot of teenagers go through peer pressure. If anybody walks up to me and tells me that, I think I've never been pressurized by my peers before, they're lying. I also have been.
Exactly.
Because if you had asked me this question yesterday, I would have been like, I don't think I have been pressurized by my peers before. But now that I think of it, I have. So at some point last year, there was this book going on. And to keep the long story extremely short, it had too much details for not just a teenager, but for anybody that doesn't have the right state of mind.
Mental
Let
stability.
me just put it that way. It's not good for a teenager whether you're a Christian or not. I don't know how to explain it, but then the point of the matter is that it wasn't great. But then when my friend told me about it, I wanted to read it. Why? So that
You're curious.
I was curious. The prose was not even that nice. The thing was that a lot of my other set girls were reading it. So
I wanted to feel among.
yeah, I wanted to feel among for once. Because I'm not the one that would go to the outings or would join them in gisting. Come on, I have other things I'm doing in school. But then I was like, I think this book will finally give me the popularity I want. But at some point, I wasn't getting it. In the sense of, I was compromising my values, who I am, for other people. And I've come to realize that if you have to fake it to fit in, please, I beg you, in the name of God, don't do it. Don't. Because at some point, you keep on changing your behaviors, changing how you are.
And you might get confused
So much
of
so
who
that
you
you get
really
confused. Like in 2020, I thought I was overweight. In fact, I wasn't. But I decided to lose weight for people. And when I came back after
Because
quarantine,
you want to please them.
I wanted to please them. I wanted to be like, you look nice today. But then when I came back after quarantine, they were like, were you sick? And I was thinking,
You're going so skinny. What happened to the meat?
I was thinking, I did this for you. You're telling me to go back. Are you? So please don't change yourself for anybody. In fact, let me even see the question again so I can make sure I am hitting this point home. So I think that's basically it. And when it comes to escaping negative influences, because this leads to peer pressure.
And may also
way-
lead to
You cut it
emotional
off.
damage and some
Yeah,
things.
the way I did with the book was that I had to cut it off. At some point, I was losing interest in it. God knew that I can't keep on reading it and expect to hear Him as I was. So I just had to cut it off. I deleted it and I made sure that if anybody wanted to come to talk to me about the book, I would tell them, sorry, I'm not interested. So I think you should actually kind of do that. What about you?
Well, it's almost the same thing, but mine. Okay, let me just say this. For you guys will know the meaning. I'm a weeb, for example.
Anime.
So yeah, so basically, when people see me, they see me as this guy that is calm and all this stuff. But when they start getting into gist with me, and whenever it comes to anime, like, that's when, like, I really start talking. I can, like, see, like, for Naruto now, I've watched almost all the episodes up to date.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
like,
Can't.
and, like, we'll now be gisting about it, and, like, guy, yes. But, lately, well, when I was in school one day, we were like, oh my God, this guy is such an anime freak. And I was like, wow, so this is what people are saying at my back. And I was like, okay. Then I started being myself. And when other people want to talk to me, especially about anime, I tend to like reduce the intensity of the way I talk to them about it, because...
So you're changing yourself?
No, I wasn't changing myself. Like, for example, if maybe they want to talk about anime, and I know they're not really interested in anime, I look for a topic that they can relate to,
so
and I
both
can
are
relate to,
interested.
so the
I get it.
vibe will be there, not just only one-sided gist. So also, when you want to like talk to someone, you should make it so that the
Find your
person...
personal interest,
exactly,
like
what you guys have in common. So that's my own.
So I've forgotten whose turn is it, Abi? Is it your turn?
It's yours, I guess.
Are you sure?
Anyhow. Okay.
Well, I think it's my... Sorry. I think I want to give you this question.
So, this question is, how different is your life from your peers?
I think we should answer. Go on, answer.
So, what I mean, so like my life is different from my peers. Well, my taste in music actually,
Yeah.
because as in my country, Afrobeats is like the best thing to listen to,
I think it's overhyped, I'm so sorry.
and exactly. But when I listen to it, I just like, I don't really get what people enjoy, because the beats and everything sometimes to me is just off, and it makes my ears hurt. But when I listen to other music like Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, all those other musicians that are abroad, it just makes me feel okay. But when other people see me and they see me listen to all these songs, they feel like, oh, this guy is so different. But I like being different, because if maybe I'm in a place, they can actually pick me. Like if maybe I'm a chess piece and everybody is white and the one that is red, I'll be noticeable, and they'll be able to pick me and be wondering, and they want to be like, wonder what I am. So that's the reason why. So that's my answer to the question.
I think I kind of relate to the whole topic of different taste in music. I, for one, absolutely love, God bless his soul, Sam Smith, Shakara. Like, I don't get it sometimes, because there's so many songs that go on by different people, like different Nigerian musicians. And they're not that bad, but then I just don't vibe to them
with the songs as much as most other people do.
Come on, I can vibe more to Beyonce than any other, especially Girl Woman by Beyonce. I can vibe more to her than any other Afrobeat. Okay, but then someone I actually love is Burna Boy.
It's okay.
But then going to how I'm different from my peers, I would say, I can't remember my response anymore. Let me try to remember. Yeah, going on to how I'm different from my peers, I would say my values, in the sense of what I hold dear to me, and what they hold dear to them. I am not one to gist. Yes, I might, once in a while, I might find you and we talk for a long time.
And find you interesting.
I'm a huge fan of group gisting, in the sense of 10 people in a room just talking about different things.
Moving from X to Y to Z.
I tend to be a busy teenager, so I have this thing doing, I have that thing doing. And the more minutes I spend, the more time I remember, Davina, you have to get up now and go. And then that might make other people see me as a goody two-shoes or a quiet person. But then if you actually really get to know me, you understand that I am peculiar when I want to be. I act crazy when I want to be, when I need to be, when the situation calls for it. So yeah, I would say that's how I'm a bit different from music and everything. So my turn. I got a blank piece of paper.
So you have to pick again.
I have to pick another one. Okay, it's quite short. How do you enjoy your own company?
Well, enjoying my own company, I really enjoy my own company, it's not like I like to be lonely because, come on, if you're in a room alone, you get like starting to go crazy. That's for me. But when it comes to enjoying my own company, like there's a lot of things I can do. Like when I was a kid, I can just stay in a room and play with Lego, and that's just what makes me happy. But as I go older, well, the basic thing to do is watch Netflix and chill, bro.
Yeah.
Like, just sit down, enjoy your own company, or you can just read a book or something, and your imagination goes wild, and you start thinking of other things. And sometimes, even some of the things we see here now, like lights and other things, they were made because someone just sat down and thought of something.
Quiet time. Quiet
Just
time
have
is
a
very
quiet
important.
time. Sometimes ideas can just flow by just enjoying your own company.
Yeah.
So that's why I really like to enjoy my own company. So that's my own answer for that question.
I think
What's yours?
enjoying my company, or at least that question of how do you enjoy your company, hits home for me because ever since quarantine passed, that was like
Coronavirus.
2020, like later 2020 till like early this year, I was having friendship issues in the sense of I would see this one working with that one, this one working with that one, and I would feel so different sometimes. All these differences I was saying that I'm happy about, I wasn't so
Happy
happy about them. I was always wondering like, what is wrong with me? Like,
Feeling left
am
out.
I different? I was feeling left out. So one of my friends kept on saying, at least the only few I had was always like, Daniela, you know there's nothing wrong with just having two friends, right? What makes you think that the more friends you have, the happier you get? There's nothing. There's no written document that says
The more
it is
friends you
proven,
have.
the more friends you have, the happier you are. In fact, sometimes the more friends you have, the less happy you become because people can be
Because-
too dramatic sometimes. So
And you don't have much time to spend with all of them.
So I think I'm still learning how to enjoy my own company, how to be my own friend. But I think how I do that, or how I'm learning to do that, is spending time on myself. In the sense of movies, I love films, especially comedy. If you find me laughing to a film, please know that thing is very funny. Because I tend to keep a strong face. I tend to, in fact, I don't find some people funny. I don't find some comedians. I don't want to mention their names. So people start saying, Navina doesn't have any sense of humor. But then, I think I absolutely love Ryan Reynolds and his recent film, The Adam Project. So yes, I spent.
Guess I'll go
quality
watch
time-
that.
Yeah, I spent quality time myself yesterday by just watching that and enjoying it. So, next question, sir.
Okay.
That's a long one.
Yeah. Okay, this question. How do you choose your friends knowing that one wrong friendship can take you down a path you never wanted to go? Note, what screams bad friends?
What? Okay, so it's not like I'm picky with friends, but then it starts. I notice things easily, and when I notice that I cannot stay for a long time with you, I just distance myself. So let me give an example. I met someone recently, and they were a bit too touchy in the sense of we're just talking and they will be putting their hand up. I'm not used to that kind of stuff, so I know that I would not go down
Really
the path
flow with the
of
person.
not like I won't flow with you. I would keep the conversation short. You say hello, who am I to say bye bye? Say hello, I say hello, we walk our own way. That kind of acquaintance, you get what I'm trying to say. But then if I notice that I click with you, you get me, I get you, and then you understand my boundaries. I, for one, do not like it when people abuse me and say, oh, I'm just joking now, can't you take a joke? I don't like that. You can't be making comments about
Me? That
Me.
you think will be good,
that.
but
You don't even know
hurts the
whether
person.
I'm battling with that. We don't know how my self-esteem is.
Yeah.
So why are you making comments about that and just saying you're joking? I, for one, don't like that. So when I notice that the new friend is doing that, I kind of keep my conversations short. But if I like everything about them except that one thing, I would speak to them. I believe conversation is very key. So I'll be
So the
like,
person will know
yeah.
what you don't really like.
I'll be like, excuse me, I love you and everything. I like your vibe. I like what you're doing, but then I'm not a fan of the things you say about me. And if they're not listening, then so be it. Please walk your own way and realize you were breathing before they came. You will breathe after they go. Then how about them?
So my addition to that question is that like it's almost what you said,
Yeah.
but my addition is that you pick your friends by your values or the things that sort of you are interested
Yeah,
in.
common interest.
Common interests.
That's
For that's even what makes friends,
A friend.
because you can't just go to a friend and be like, I want to be your friend, and you guys have nothing in common, because
But
that
you can't
friendship,
relate to anything.
because that friendship will not last. So even if maybe if you just want to be different to that person because you think the person is cool, make sure you guys can actually relate, because a friendship is not a friendship if you guys cannot even talk about something
That
you
both
guys love
you're
or
both
something.
interested in.
So that's my own addition.
I think that kind of relates to what you said about other people not liking anime as much.
Exactly.
I'm sure once you find someone that is as, in fact, even more in love with anime, you would cling to them. But then I think what's something like that relates to the following question. I don't want to go down a path of abuses in the sense of if I notice that you swear too much, I know my
course.
parents won't allow me to use curse words. So I don't want to get to a point where I stay by you all the time and if you curse so much that all I can think about is swear words. At some point, my
It just
self-control,
becomes natural that you
yeah,
can
at
just.
some point I'll start swearing out loud and I don't want to go down that path. And I think it links to negative influences.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you notice someone is doing something
You don't
can't
normally
deal
do
with,
or you can't do
if
no,
they're
on a nose.
watching something you don't watch or anything. Like I for one, I'm sorry if you're going to be triggered by this, but I don't like horror movies. I just can't do it. So if all you talk about is how Chucky did that or how the eighth clown did this, please
She'll
don't
be
say-
scared,
it's
she'll
not
not be able to
Pennywise,
sleep.
right? Yeah, please, I just can't do it here. Then the last question, let me call it a day.
Final one.
Okay, this actually links to friendships.
Okay.
So I like how the last question is about friendships. Okay, most of your friends must be in relationships or have just come out of one and on the way to another. And you know the Bible says we should flee youthful lusts. How are you struggling with this and how are you coping with this?
Okay, so for some time, when I was like in junior school actually, that actually was like, it made me actually sad. But lately when I
Probably
started,
you ain't getting the
exactly. Well, after some time, I was just like, okay, relationship is for like people with that have the mental stability or can handle it, because once you get into that relationship, you're not just thinking for yourself, you're thinking for
about
another
another person.
person. And you can't just be like thinking for another person when you're still in school. Bro, you have not even gotten out of life, you're already thinking for somebody else.
Yeah.
And so like that's the hard thing about it. How do you relate to that?
I would say that if I know I'm not mentally prepared for a relationship, I wouldn't enter. But this last question links to negative influences. Please, please, please do not enter a relationship if you know you are not ready for it, because that will lead to disaster. I think it's even worse for girls because I don't know if you've heard it before, but when we girls like people, in fact, when we fall with our heads, we fall with our hearts. In the sense of boys tend to be emotionally detached sometimes.
Not all boys, no.
Okay, there are exceptions. The majority of the ones we see tend to be emotionally detached, or at least they put up the front that,
They're emotionally detached.
yeah, they're not really bothered. Like, let's say they get a breakup now, they're not as affected. But you see a girl, something happens and she's affected
6 box
real
of
bad.
chocolate.
Yeah,
Ice cream.
which is why I say when girls fall, we fall with our heads, we fall with our hearts. So what I mean is that if you know you're not ready to fall that kind of fall, please do not just enter. Do not let what's
It
going
can
on.
lead to depression, and for some people,
Yeah.
it can lead to depression, which can also lead to some things like your health might not be good because you're not
Maybe
eating
just
much.
that. The thing about relationships is that as you leave, a part of you is taken out. Yes, they can add to you, but it's not all the time that you leave as whole as you were before. I left a relationship in like year 9, and I wouldn't say I was as whole as I came in the sense of some things were said, and I wish it never even happened sometimes, because I left relationship feeling more conscious, more self-conscious. My self-esteem reduced drastically. So if you know you are not ready for that, don't bother. Make sure whomever you decide to actually get into it should be worth your time. Relationships are like friendships. In fact, friendships are relationships. Dating, they're relationships. So the way it works is that both of you should be benefiting from it. like let's say we are friends now. We are.
We are friends.
So whatever we converse, our relationship, I should benefit from you.
What you're saying.
You should benefit from me.
Exactly.
Not that it's the one way. It shouldn't be one-sided. Another thing is that while you were waiting, while you were coping, and this is something that I just couldn't do. At some point, I think I got used to liking people and they didn't like me back. I felt really bad. I felt really sad, and I was really, really moody. You would just look at me and you see me frowning. I'd be like, "Are you okay?" And obviously I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm okay," but I'm
Smile.
really not.
Outside.
Yeah. So what someone told me at that point in time was, while you are single, what you should do is that you should work on yourself. Work on the areas of your life, the areas of your personality that might turn people off. In the sense of, if you are dishonest, work on that before you jump to another relationship. If you are messy, in the sense like you can't keep your everywhere is messy. If you're like messy, make sure that before you move to another one,
Work on that.
You work on
because
that.
not people like messy people.
Yeah, so that once the person that is worth your time comes around, your personality will not chase them away. And make sure you are not changing what makes you unique. I tend to talk a lot, and that will not be something I will change just because of a boy,
the person.
or just because of a friend that wants to come into my life. Don't do that. And I think what you should keep in mind is that majority of relationships in secondary school, they fail. So I think that helped me cope.
Exactly.
Knowing that X with Y will end soon.
And
So
breakfast.
that helps me. So I think that's enough questions for today. And I hope you learned from our experiences.
And
on
I hope you'll be able to
negative
work on it, and maybe if you're still going through some things, maybe our experiences can help
Yeah.
you
You can
So-
also type your further questions
in the
in
comment
the comments.
section. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, to Daystar. Thank you and bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed the service because I did. And to round up, I have a scripture taken from 3 John chapter 1 verse 4, and it says, "The greatest joy in my life is hearing how my children are walking in the truth." Thank you and have an amazing week.